Hello and welcome to Stars Without Number. We're going to go ahead and do a quick intro of the cast here. I'll go into my spiel and then we will begin tonight's adventure. So we'll go ahead and start off with Steven. Say hi.
Hey everybody, Stephen Rieger playing Colin Green today.
And next up is Rose.
Hey everybody, my name is Rose and I will be playing Cressida Sid Green.
And finally, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zachary Vaudo playing Altus 266.
And I'm Patrick, the storyteller, game master for tonight. So, welcome to Stars Without Number. In 2108, humanity developed a device called the Spike Drive, which shunted a spacecraft into extra-dimensional space and allowed light years of distance to be traversed in mere weeks. Exposure to this space led to the development of psionic abilities in certain humans, and their gifts were harnessed to usher in a golden age for the species. A sprawling intergalactic government called the Terran Mandate regulated laws and trade throughout known space, and humanity flourished. Technological advancement led to new and dangerous discoveries ranging from radical genetic engineering to almost immediate travel to far-off galaxies. This all came to a brutal end in 2665, when an event called the Scream destroyed every ship equipped with the spike drive and killed every psionic in an instant. The Terran Mandate collapsed and every world was forced to rely solely on itself. Whole planets died as importing needs supplied like food, water, and medicine was impossible, and their economies were specialized towards specific purposes to help prop up the bulk of the species. What tech survived the Scream started to falter, and centuries of despair and darkness known as the Silence nearly brought us to extinction. Not all was lost. Frontier worlds not completely crippled by the Scream rebuilt what they could, and humanity trudged through. The year is now 3200, and individual star sectors have rebuilt as best they can. We shift our focus to Tatum Prime in the Foramen 7 system, where a trio of unlikely companions are about to take their first steps to exploring the stars without number. In our previous installment, rumors of a way to get off-world led to a fortunate team-up between pilot deserter Sid and runaway android Altus. Sid's brother Colin was locked up in a military prison camp, and she needed assistance to get him out so she could get to the bunker to get off-world. Now, some notes here about this bunker and what is rumored to be contained therein. So, this bunker contains some of the last existing spike drive technology that the locals, the commoners here on the planet, don't or actually have access to. The government here strongly controls off-world access. You have to be high up in the military or the government or be insanely rich in order to be able to get out of Atmo. Now, the ship down below in this bunker would have been constructed after the Scream using some of the surviving resources that the government had access to. They had used this first initial batch of spike drive ships to help establish themselves out in the stars. Now, from here, I'm just reading a quick note as far as the prison break itself, it was a fairly eventful, we'll say, demonstration of power between Colin's resourcefulness inside the camp, as Sid's, we'll say, social engineering, and her all-around just badass bullheadedness, I guess, works, and superior piloting ability. And then Altus's strange tech build-out, giving him access to abilities that, quite frankly, Colin and Sid would have never heard of an android having. But the bunker itself, though, that you all are going to be heading out towards eventually, if that is the game plan here, sits off in what's called an exclusion zone. The planetary government had, after a few centuries of warfare that started with nukes and ended with nukes and various other high-tech means of destruction that we probably couldn't think about here in 2022, whole sections of the planet have been ruined. This exclusion zone has a reputation for being particularly lethal, but we'll get to that later. Now, the hijacked vehicle does get disposed of in an inconspicuous part of town after you've managed to make your dramatic getaway from the prison. And you're all kind of holed up in what appears to be a abandoned squat. It's an old like sub-level like basement apartment. Windows have been smashed in. There's, mattresses on the floor, but it looks like this place has been rousted free lately. So you, in theory, have the place to yourself. But you've all kind of holed up here just to kind of take stock of what's going on.
So Colin's picked up his bug-out bag and is going to prop himself on the floor, kind of leaning back on a wall. And we'll pull out his sniper rifle and start cleaning it up, because it's been a while since he's touched it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sid, it's been going on since I've been in the clink there.
Well, the same corruption the government's been trying to foist on all of us while trying to just backpedal and backpace everything that they've been saying. And, the rich people are going out to space and everything like that, and going out at atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. All that shenanigans. Also, picked up apparently Altus over here, who can do, what the fuck was that?
That is something I've not quite done before, I have to admit. It felt right, for the moment. Usually I use this for more constructive means.
From
Now,
what I know, Altus, you're artificial intelligence, correct?
In a manner of speaking.
How can you do that? That doesn't seem like something that artificial intelligence or even a computer or some kind of bot can do.
I am what is known as a unique design.
Huh. Okay then.
Altus, do you know who programmed you to do this?
I was constructed by Vesuvius Droid Works for the United Tatum government. Contracted to form an orbital solutions. The notion, as far as I'm aware, was to create a more versatile system.
So UT, but a very nice security system into Altus, it looks like.
I mean, I feel safe around them.
Oh no, my programming and my setup has mostly been used for constructive means. I repaired exosphere aircraft and spacecraft.
Okay,
My
so
abilities allow me to maneuver the exterior of the ships much more efficiently and work without tools.
Okay, so very handy to have. You have so much security, but a Swiss Army knife with bonus?
I suppose, depending on what a Swiss Army knife is.
And your ultimate goal, if I'm to understand, to go out to space.
Yes,
To what end?
to every end.
To do what?
To be, to explore, to not be confined.
I gotta say, you're truly unique, and yeah, I'm just glad to have you around.
Absolutely.
Now, as a point of order, there is a difference between artificial intelligence and a virtual intelligence.
As I said in the manner of speaking.
Yep. As far as Altus is concerned, he is a virtual intelligence. To a layperson, there's not much of a difference. But there's still going to be parameters that Altus cannot break. Even the most complicated of VIs is still bound by the constraints of its programming. There will be a limit to what Altus can and cannot do, but a true unshackled AI, those do exist. They are on a entirely different level, however. But yes, the both of you would know, though, that for Altus being a virtual intelligence, being in the frame that it is in, things are definitely suspicious, would be the right term. You've never heard of constructor bots having this sort of ability before. So, that being said, now Colin, you've got your bug out bag. Now, did that also include the heavy gear, or do we still need to go get the heavy gear?
Oh, that will include everything that I own. Colin does not have a location to stay. He has spent most of his time deployed, so he never really ended up anywhere but government's housing or being deployed to wherever they needed him. So when stuff was going down, he made sure to stuff his collectibles in a secure location. So we're talking maybe a bag and a backpack worth of woven armor and ammo and weapons galore, just in case you need them.
Some people steal paper clips and pens from their job. Colin steals other things.
Other things. They're useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very fast stapler.
Now, as far as getting to the exclusion zone, the little ramshackle town that you all are in sits on the safe boundary once you get out past the scrublands, things turn into a hard baked salt flat from whatever happened all those centuries ago. As long as it's a still day and you're careful with how you walk, you can go about relatively okay. As long as you're being careful. But if a windstorm picks up, or you are in some sort of vehicle that happens to kick up a lot of dust, that can cause problems due to the highly acidic nature of the hard pack. The bunker itself is said to sit at the base of some foothills. Before the actual, there's kind of a mountain range off to the south, and there's some rockier areas leading up to the mountain range, and this is where the bunker is. This was supposedly some sort of emergency supply cache that the government had tucked away, and some scrounger managed to find it. Now, as far as the weather coming up here over the next few days, just because that was part of the precaution that you all have been taking as far as trying to plan this little adventure, you know that the window to make the trip, you've got a few days here where things are feasible, so you've got time to plot and plan and come up with a solution to how do you A, get to the bunker, and B, how do you get inside the bunker once you get there. So we'll kind of take the time here to kind of zoom in on one of these conversations. Everything has been kind of gathered up as far as Colin's gear, and said you finished going, giving your little makeshift helicopter a little check over, and you're all kind of getting ready to settle down and kind of tuck in for the night, or in Altus's case, plug into the wall. But
it's three-pronged. Make sure.
Yeah, you gotta make sure. Yeah, the ground is very important.
Grounding.
You can't forget the ground.
Yeah, the grounding.
So clearly, I have the vehicle to get there.
Yes, it seems. Barring any security mishaps along the way.
It can hold up. As far as I'm aware, it's the best thing we have going for us right now.
I'm gonna look to the side of the helicopter that we have. Any way we can harness the outside of this for me to hang out of?
Oh, you wanna?
Well, if we get an aerial shot and we can stay far away, I can scope out, we can scout without touching the ground, which ultimately I think is the safest.
Sid's gonna take a minute to actually see if there's any hard spots or hard points that if there is some form of harness we can make shift or make for Colin.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and this is going to be intelligence and what would be a good skill check for this?
Remind me also what dice I'm rolling as well. Sorry.
This would be
2d6.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Yes.
My pages are sticking together. This book barely gets used.
2d6 plus skill level plus attribute modifier.
Yep. Okay, there we go. So give me an intelligence and...
I feel like it would be a fix, personally.
Yeah,
speaking.
that makes sense for me.
It's the one that fits. Pilot doesn't make sense. Pilot's for actually piloting something.
Yep. Yep. You can give intelligence and fix.
Uh, 10.
Okay, the check was 8, so you passed. Now, Sid, with this being a ramshackle affair, this doesn't follow any design spec by any means. You think you found a place where you spent a little bit of time with your welder. Yeah, you could rig something up for Colin to... I don't know, Colin, what were you intending on doing here? Like, actually dangling out of the...
So, the design of the helicopter, in my mind, probably sits closer to like a little bird style hub with the tail in the back and less of a Huey, if I'm correct on that. So what I was thinking of is the old feet on the railing on the sled bar out the side, just kind of have more of a stabilization to kind of... take a shot if I need to or something, but just something so I don't fall out of the damn helicopter.
Okay. Yeah, you'd be able to weld in, a couple of extra eye bolts, and you've got there's enough rigging here. Yeah, you can get something made for him relatively easy. So you go and you set about your work.
Give me a couple minutes.
Yep. So zap, 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 and it's done.
Go give that a tug.
Throw a little harness on and kind of rather see if I fall on my face with 3 feet rather than however far we're going to be up. So
Or thousands of feet we're going up.
Would you like to see further up?
I think we're good for now, Altus. I just need to make sure it wasn't going to fall out.
Okay.
Once we get up there, Altus, I'll make sure that you're on the opposite side of where I am, just in case we need your capabilities again.
Okay.
But I think we're going to need to... Storyteller, we know about the salts of the sands and stuff being toxic and stuff.
Yeah.
It's about time to kick in there, Sid. Tomorrow, maybe we go out and get some more clothing to cover ourselves, just in case we have to be on foot in this round. I want to make sure we take all precautions that we can.
That's a good idea. Face coverings, masks, eyewear, the whole thing, the whole shebang. Like we're doing like a, winter field exam or something like that.
Altus, do you know your chemical capabilities? Would that salt hinder you?
I imagine in prolonged exposure would cause corrosion. Though, depending on the length of the area, it may not be an issue.
Okay.
Well, again, we'll play it cautious. We'll make sure that we get something for you as well.
How much of the field is this acidic salt?
As a note, there's some shrubland off to the south of town, and that's kind of where the town uses it as basically a dumping ground. There's a lot of nasty stuff goes down in the shrublands, but then that thins out, and then it starts getting into regular sand, and then it gets grittier and more compact. Most of the exclusion zone, I would say, probably covers a good 3,000 acres. It's a pretty decent stretch. Now, in theory, getting the, we'll call it survival equipment, there's going to be outfitters and whatnot that you can get this stuff from. There is a fringe, we'll say niche industry of people going into the exclusion zone to salvage for old scrap left over from the wars, etc. There's stuff to be found. The bunker where this alleged ship is allegedly kept is probably one of the biggest finds that you've heard of over the past 5 years. There have been other things like this. Some of them are legitimate. Some of them turned out to be rumors. People go and they check things out. They don't come back. Or if they do come back, they've got an axe to grind on the dipshit that sold them the bad info. Wars and gang fights start off over squabbles between different scavenger groups. But as far as going out and getting the stuff, who was going to be the errand runner, so to speak? Who was going to be the face to go out and get the gear? Sid?
I will accompany.
We'll all go.
I'm gonna say that was a
Work
group
as
thing.
team. It's been a while.
The group shot.
I can accompany. Yes.
Okay. So the three of you scramble out of your little holdout, or did you y'all would have gone back to the bunker, back to the hangar at some point in time there, so you've been using that as your base of operations. Sid, you know the neighborhood well enough. You know a couple of different outfitters that you can get the gear from. Now, when you're going out and kind of scanning the streets, I want you all to go ahead and you can give me, let's do intelligence, and 1 second here. Let's do intelligence and no. Or no. Intelligence and notice.
7.
Or
5.
Altus, you're the one who spots there's a public vid screen that serves as public access for like news and whatnot. You can, the screen's been graffitied up. These terminals are treated like payphones back in old Earth, way back in old Earth. But through the glitchy screen, you can see that it's flashing a lookout notice for Colin and Sid. It's got their old military ID profile pictures, their names, their last known location. Everyone seems to be ignoring it, though. It's just, I mean, who pays attention to that sort of thing? But you do see that it has finally come out, so to speak.
I'll walk up behind the two of them and say, "You two are wanted."
What?
The vid screen. It has your faces on it.
Oh, they picked that one?
Could have got my better side.
Could have gotten when my hair was longer.
You know, pre-scar, I was a looker.
But you see,
don't push it.
As you're paying attention to the vid screen, it's not like it's a high news priority. It pops up once every like 7 or 8 slides, and it's
Storyteller.
Yeah.
Is there a reward attached to them?
No.
Okay. There is no reward attached to you, so at least you will not have to worry about people seeking you out as much. People are more motivated when there is monetary return.
Yeah, that's true.
Still could also want to walk without being, known.
It is too late for that.
She's gonna pop a hood up.
Hood up.
Okay.
Now we match.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Okay then.
And another old Earth. So
yeah, Sid kind of like gets into it, like it's an old reference, but boy, do I love it.
Now, as far as the outfitter goes, Sid, you get to the place easily enough. This shop has a reputation for dealing relatively above board when it comes to stuff. In this sort of trade, if you screw too many people over and word gets around that you're, not a clean party, so to speak, whatever endeavors you had planned dry up right quick. But you could fence whatever salvage you find and get your hands on some pretty tasty leftover tech if you also have a good reputation and you've got the money to back it up. Now, as far as the equipment that you see here, most of it's going to take the form of trying to think of the correct measurement here, but it's going to be a strong, durable plastic. Think hazmat suit plus 2.
Okay.
But they're going to have the higher end suits are going to have it's going to be hermetically sealed ventilation with climate control. Those suits are expensive, and those are going to be for the we'll say the professional scavenger. Those suits go for 8,000 credits apiece. Now, Colin, did you have a plan?
Nope, just on a budget.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can kind of piece together something workable for somewhere in the neighborhood of like 500 credits. And that's going to be something that you're going to be able to make do, but don't expect to get long-term use out of it. Now, Altus...
Just for one trip.
Mm-hmm.
One way.
Mm-hmm. Now, Altus, as far as you haven't actually had the opportunity to examine the soil composition from the exclusion zone. If it's a fine particulate, it's going to get places that it probably shouldn't eventually. If you spend any length of time out there without also wearing some sort of covering, you're going to have to require extensive service when you get back. So you're also going to have to shell out did I say 5 or 600?
5.
Yep. So you're also going to have to shell out the 500. You don't have to worry about the respiration issues that the humans do, but you still have to you have to go for a little more higher end for the seals.
I pick up the sealed suit and I place a stack of chunks and pieces of gold and titanium and platinum on the counter, or if there what suffices for a counter. Let's go. Will this do?
And the clerk is actually part cyborg, and he's got a biomechanical faceplate here and a zooming eye that he uses as a jeweler's loop. And you can hear it whirring and clicking and clacking and doing some other things besides articulating in and out. Oh yeah, this ought to cover most of this, actually. What was Zach? What was the actual credit value of the money that you had, or the metals that you had? I can't remember.
A kilo of trade metals can be worth up to 1,000 credits per the book.
Okay. And this will actually cover. You know what? I'll be nice and I'll say that since this is raw good here, I can actually use this. I can say that this will cover 2 suits.
Very good.
So if we got 600 to pony up for the other suit, the 3 of you will be all set.
I'll turn back to them and just smile.
Sid, how much money you got?
How much money do I got?
I don't know. How much money do you have?
Oh my good
Not a
lord.
good sign.
There should be a credits section on your sheet.
Bottom center.
Bottom center. I got 200.
Wait, you said suits for 500, right?
Yes.
And we just need one more.
Yes.
Sid, give me your 200.
Yeah, okay.
We'll make our money elsewhere, and I'll take my 300. This is all we got.
And he is looking everything over. All right, well, yeah, this is, yeah, you're good to go. And he starts to scramble to all of the trade metal that Altus had kept and saved and scrimped and stole. It's quick to go into a lockbox and get stashed underneath the counter there. So the environment suits are going to consist of they're basically going to be a hazmat suit. They're not going to like I said, hold up long term. You're gonna have to get in and get out and hope that you don't run into too many complications that might cause damage to said suit, or you're going to have a bad time. Now, once you've gotten your gear, was the game plan to immediately get to the helicopter and get out to the bunker, or was there any other loose ends that y'all were wanting to tie up before you headed out?
I've got no loose ends.
Whatever's clever.
I have no plans, but the ship.
Altus wants to go to space, so the sooner we get there.
As do I.
Okay. I'm wanting.
Sometimes the best plan is no plan.
Yeah. So you're taking your gear back to the hangar.
Maintaining a low profile, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I want everyone to go ahead and you can give me either Dex or Int, whatever one is your higher of those two. You can give me a Dex or Int and Sneak for a skill check.
5.
8.
11.
Now, Altus, you didn't. You think that you've sorted out the facial recognition issues, but unfortunately, part of your system is hardwired to register when you've been pinged on the system. And in your field of vision, you get a little notice saying shut down. But you figured out a long time ago how to disable that particular command. And it's just like anything else, just you keep ignoring it, it'll go away eventually. But you know that.
Remind me in 3 days.
Yep. But you know that eventually, you know, the news tightens and you're going to have to get the hell out of Dodge sooner rather than later. Other than that, there's no other incident getting back to the hangar.
So,
all right.
I think if we, what time is it right now, Storyteller, in the day?
We'll say the equivalent of 10 a.m.
So what time do we want to take this trip? Do we want to try to go through the night?
I do not require sleep.
Neither do I. I mean, also not on any kind of tight timeline or schedule, but sooner rather than later.
Storyteller,
Yeah.
may I make a roll?
Mm-hmm.
I want to take some more of the trade metals that I have, particularly copper, and I would like to line the interior of the suit hood that I will be wearing, since we are going towards a more government facility.
Good idea. I like that. You know what? Why don't you go ahead and you can give me a Dex or Int, whatever's higher, and Fix.
7.
You think between, you know, your unusual strength, getting the copper kind of flattened out, and you know Sid's got access to the metallurgical equipment here as well. You manage to, you know, use some of the scrap wire. You get it kind of woven into the fabric of your hood. Got some plates kind of pounded flat. Yeah, you think you got this.
I can commit the effort for my telekinesis to leverage the material as well.
Okay.
Which just impresses the heck out of Sid. She's just like, I guess the only thing I need to really be concerned about is getting into the bunker. We don't know if it's locked, or we don't know if it's sealed or anything like that.
Now, it stands to reason that you hear bunker, and you know that this is a wartime facility. Getting in isn't going to be like going in, knocking on the door, and just walking right through.
This ain't going to be going like into the records area of the prison that you were just in, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Although pleasant as that was. Any ideas?
We pull up, we observe, we count, and we see what's around the outside. We land, we walk in, taking out what we need, and then we get to the door. Now, programming, hacking, doing all that kind of work. Altus, how do you feel about that? Is that something that you think you can take care of?
One moment. I believe I can. I will not be familiar with the system until we get there, but I believe I have some ability to bypass some of the security measures.
So that'll be option 1 of 2.
2 being we blow it up.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Copy that.
Let's see here. Around the hangar that we're in, would I be able to look for something that would be explosive? Storyteller?
Yeah, we could probably,
The fuel.
Why don't you go ahead and you can give me a wisdom and no.
Cool.
Wisdom and no.
Go. That is a 9.
Yeah, there's the biofuel that Sid has tooled her engine up for. It's fairly volatile. You get it into a compressed container. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You can do a lot of damage with this stuff. Getting it compressed, however, is going to be that's the tricky thing. You could come up with, I would say, a pretty decent high-grade explosive. It's going to require a dex and this is a dex and no. Whoever wants to attempt this. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. I'm just sitting at a +1 for that.
I mean, same, so.
Add 1 for assisting? Oh. Worth a shot.
That's an 8.
You managed to get a pretty decent amount of fuel all over the place. You do come up with something. It's not going to be as big of a boom, as what you were expecting, but yeah, it's workable.
It means to get the job done, I gotta clean up before I light the place up.
Mm-hmm.
Sid's gonna roll up the sleeves, wash up.
Okay.
After handing off the whatever she has to Colin, just like, there you go.
Put it in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
That's our plan B. Plan boom.
I like Plan Boom.
Plan boom.
Plan Boom. I like that.
We've already done plan boom already to get you out of here. Let's try and leave that as a last resort.
Mm-hmm. So you're going through your flight checks, getting everything all set and ready to rock and roll. Altus, you've got your gear loaded up. You've gotten the shutdown notification again. You know that it's going to get more and more insistent the closer they get.
I don't have the hood on.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, Colin, you've got all of your gear on the helicopter.
I live with it, so it's with me. I'm taking it with me.
Okay. And Sid, you finish your flight checks. Everything is good to go. You push a button on a little doodad that you've rigged together, and it's you basically made your own garage door opener for the hangar doors. They creak open, and you fire the bird up. You've done a few test fires before just to make sure that the engine would turn over, but you've never had the opportunity to really open her up, get the rotors going, get this thing up off the ground. It's a little shaky. And
Hold on for me, baby girl. Hold on for me.
Anyone sitting in we'll say the back of the helicopter can definitely hear the tail section groan on the rest of the chassis.
Well, I'm hanging outside of it, so I'm sure I'm hearing all this.
Mm-hmm. Colin, you're pretty sure you see a bolt go taken off down below back into the hangar.
I go out. I'm going out gloriously, though, so...
But your altimeter says that you're gaining altitude, Sid, and
Taking her out.
25 foot, 30 foot, 50 foot, 125 foot. She's up. She's holding together. Now, you've done your math. You've got enough fuel for there and back. Not a lot of time for joyriding, though. So, if you're gonna go, you gotta commit to it now. Are you gonna go?
All right, guys, she's airborne. We ready to go?
Roll out.
Excellent.
All right, Autobots. And she's just gonna
Sid just has all of the ancient Earth references.
We're Autobots.
Now, as you're flying out over the town, you're low enough that you can hear people down below hollering up. And there's, you can see people, oh, hey, look at that. And of course, you also know that there were, a couple of the military's urban patrols that have definitely seen an unregistered aircraft take up out of the middle of town and streak out towards the exclusion zone. So there's that.
Okay, we're gonna go up higher. We're gonna go a little bit faster.
Okay. I'm not going to require any piloting rolls. You're not in any kind of duress. I wouldn't be I'm not the kind of game master that would say, "Oh yeah, did you roll to build your helicopter?" And make you. We're not doing that. No.
I believed it was just as similar as just like putting it together, hoping for the friggin' best.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you're flying out, you clear the shrublands, and there's not a cloud in the sky. The sun is just beating down onto the onto the hard pan beneath you. About how high up are you keeping this, Sid?
Mostly because I don't know how to eyeball height. Higher than I was when I was in town, because in town I was showing off, but now we're at a reasonable height so that we can hopefully get some better momentum and like maybe catch some of the wind that's going in whatever direction.
Okay. All right, we could say you're probably like 500-600 foot up off the ground. You don't want to push it any more than that, just because, yeah, this is her maiden voyage. Now,
First and last.
Now, did you install any kind of transponder system, any kind of comm system in here, Sid? Any kind of radio to communicate with anybody out there?
I want to say she put in something basic, like rudimentary, like very old.
Okay.
Comes out a little tinny. I don't think there'd be anything fancy because she didn't anticipate Altus being with them. So she at least has probably closed circuit between Colin.
Okay.
But she had to make that sort of stretch because she's like, okay, he wants to hang out outside the window. Weirdo. Okay, we're gonna get him we're gonna get the hookup. We're gonna get the hookup, some kind of extension. A lot of this is jerry rigged with hopes and dreams and
okay. So
desperation.
So your comm system, it's scanning through, the digital band, the analog band, and then there's more high-tech means of communication as well that it doesn't have access to. So it's only going to be the basic analog and digital bands that we would think of now. I mean, if it's work, why move away from it? Or if it works, why move away from it? But it starts coming through as a crackle. But then you hear, and it's a message that's on loop. And it's coming through on a emergency band. And the message says, you are reaching Site Beta 2. Please turn around. Repeat. You are reaching Site Beta 2. Please turn around. This message will repeat over and over and over again.
She's gonna change to where she can hopefully hear Colin just like, all right, can you hear me? Oh, come in, big bro, come in.
I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay.
I can also hear you.
Funny, I don't remember putting that in there. Hey, Altus.
Hello.
All right, that's a thing that can happen. Yeah, we're getting a cute little message saying, turn around, you're going into this zone. Yeah, I'm going to ignore that. Just keep an eye out there, Colin. And Altus. Obviously, we want to make sure no one's hot on our tails. Or if there's anyone in front of us, probably pop them off.
Go about another click in and hover for a second, and I will survey and see what we can find.
We don't got a lot of gas, so nothing too fancy, nothing too long, okay?
Absolutely.
And Sid's gonna interpret that as she does because Rose cannot, and we'll do as he says.
Okay.
Fly another mile.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So as Sid is progressing deeper into the exclusion zone, Colin, it's easy to spot from where you're at on some of the you're starting to get into the hills now, and you can see on top of these hills are old, rusted out. Sid, you would know this. Sid especially would know this. These are old surface-to-air anti-aircraft missile emplacements. They've all... It looks like they've all either been fired and left and not resupplied, or they've been destroyed, or they're sitting here abandoned, unarmed, for God knows how long.
Thank Jupiter we don't have to deal with those.
And yeah, I just have my scope and just kind of surveying those areas just to make sure that there's no movement of the machines or anything around them.
Okay.
I'm just starting to survey as far as I can out into the direction that we are flying.
Okay. I'll have you do a skill check here.
Sure.
And let's see here. I think intelligence and notice.
Intel and notice. That is a 7.
Yeah, they're as far as the SAM batteries, you've got nothing to worry about. There's
Okay.
anything of value has been stripped off of it, short of the actual like metal off of the chassis, which when times get tough, the scavengers have been known to come out and grind down these frames even. But the pickings aren't that slim, at least for the time being, at least in this section. Now, as you get closer, Sid, you do see, from your position, just, you're a pilot, you're trained to spot these kind of things. You do see where there is kind of a recessed area that looks like a landing pad up on the top of one of these hills. And going off of the terrain, it leads down towards the base. Down towards what looks to be a pile of rock.
Is that where this alleged bunker would be?
Stands to reason.
Guys, I think we've hit pay dirt.
I'll start surveying the area that she's found.
Okay, Altus, you want to do anything while you are up in the air?
I'm trying to take in the nearby objects and the sense of the surrounding area. I don't think I'll be of much use until we are directly there.
Okay.
All right, am I all clear to land?
It appears that everything is fine.
Good to go.
Okay.
So, Sid, you start your approach. You always make sure to kind of, in situations like these, you always try to spin your bird so you can see your immediate takeoff area. And as you're bringing things around, you see the glint of light on the horizon, followed by another glint of light. And whatever is there is coming your way, and it is moving fast.
Okay, we got bogeys coming in really, really quick. We're gonna land and we're gonna head right to base ASAP.
Are they airborne or on the ground?
Storyteller?
It's hard to tell.
Not sure. Too far away to tell.
Okay. Once you can tell, let me know.
Colin will ask to be pointed the direction that is Sid seeing it, and I will keep an eye on the
Sid will,
impact as it's coming.
using like a face of a clock, Sid's gonna be like 12 o'clock.
Okay. So everything is as situated as you can. And Colin, you're looking through the scope towards the glint, and I'm not going to make you roll for this. You know where you're looking. And you see what looks to be a large truck with an open bed, with a couple of looks to be scavengers of some type, being chased by a helicopter not unlike Sid's. Definitely more of a local kind of a bush copter, more of a regional air control, so to speak. But you know that whatever is, or the truck is moving incredibly fast, and that bird is able to keep up. And going off of your judging, it's faster than Sid's bird.
From what I'm seeing, I have a vehicle on the ground, vehicle in the air. Looks like the vehicle in the air is chasing the one on the ground. Looks like control, so I'm going to say that the bad guys in the situation are in the air. It's going to move faster than us, so we should probably move and / help these people on the ground.
Will they not be distracted by the people on the ground while we go into the base?
I would like to keep an eye on that bird just in case, too. So let's not forget that that's there.
Very well.
Roger.
And we'll go ahead and we'll take our intermission here. I'm gonna give everyone the opportunity to come up with a battle plan going forward. And we will catch you all in about 5 minutes. So go hydrate, bio break, etc., so forth. We'll catch you right quick. 5 minutes. Bye-bye. All right, and welcome back to Stars Without Number. I forgot to do this earlier in the last episode, but I'm rolling with some dice from Odd Duck Dice. Got some wonderful blue sparkly thingies. Oh, you got some too. Oh, yes. Zach, I'll have to get you a set.
I have a set. I'm using a different set today.
Quack, quack.
So I love Rosie's dice. She does good work. So, and I will make sure to put a link in the chat. But, so Sid, you've put the helicopter down. What's going to be the game plan here? Colin, you estimate you've got a little bit of time. If you wanted to set something up, you definitely could. It's a matter of how the group is wanting to play this out.
Okay. So I'm thinking, as soon as we land, Sid, you and Altus go down and try to work on the door.
That's
I
my
will
thinking.
stay up top. I'll keep an eye on what's going on out here and keep an eye on what's going on the door if you need me down there as well. Once the door's open, I will start moving my way down there. Still keeping an eye on what's going on because we see those people. We don't know what's inside there. So be prepared for anything when that door opens, and I will be right behind you.
It's like you read my mind.
Okay.
Altus, you're with me.
This can work.
All right, so Altus and Sid, you make your way down. Now that you're on the ground, it's actually the old remains of it's a concrete staircase that's kind of worked into the landscaping. You can see that there's actually old like fighting positions kind of built up. It would be where the concrete would be reinforced. There'd be portillions to hide behind. It's a fairly defensible location. So you're at the base of the stairs, and now that you know that someone's coming, you can hear the burr of a motor, and then the faint engine sound of that helicopter that's behind them. Now, down below here at the base of the stairs, you can see that it's the remains of an old tarmac, an old concrete, pad. It's all but cracked and disintegrated away, though. But if you know where to look, you can see where there's still some of the scrabble there. But the sand has kind of drifted up into places. There's some weeds and brush kind of trying to make its way through. Now that pile of rocks that I had mentioned earlier, you can see that it looks like there was a landslide here at some point in time. But someone has recently come through, and looks like they just blasted the damn rock away. You can see where there's a crevice where people can comfortably get in and out of this rock slide. And presumably the door for the bunker is underneath. Don't know for sure, but it stands to reason. As far as the rest of the surroundings, there's a couple of old rusted out hulks of trucks. No major equipment to speak of down below here. Everything of value has been stripped away. The frames of the vehicles aren't going to provide much cover. The only real decent cover to speak of is going to be the staircase heading back up to the landing pad, and then whatever you can get from this rock slide, which isn't much if you want to be able to fight back.
Best bet is to get this door open.
That seems to be our best course of action, yes.
I would take him plan boom from Colin on the way, because it's not going to do him a bit up there.
That's true. So I will approach the door. I am making the assumption that since this is the same system that I have been employed with, I have enough familiarity with access doors and whatnot that I wouldn't need to have obtained any manuals. I can at least line shunt in and attempt the hack to suppress the system.
Yeah. Now, technological standards were set in the Terran Mandate long ago, and kind of like I said before, if it works, why change it up? Whatever kind of communication standards you have are presumably going to work with most, we'll say, government grade equipment. There might be some quirks from regional system to regional system, depending on how they had to bootstrap their computers, but for the most part, you're going to be able to do what you need to do.
Okay, in which case I am going to attempt to line shunt in. And I am going to probably attempt 2 separate hacks.
Okay.
One to open the doors and another to shut down cameras. I'm specifically attempting to suppress the system. I'm not trying to take control of it. I'm trying to disable it.
Okay. All right, go ahead and thank you for providing the page number for hacking in our Zoom chat. And one other note that I wanted to add here, as far as everyone got to level 2 going up into this episode here, so everyone's kind of rolling with a little extra cheese than what we would normally see here in a second session. All right, so line shot, doo. Okay. Yeah, I don't see any extra particular modifiers here that are gonna give you any issues. All right, go ahead and you can give me your roll for your first hack. It'll make an int in program.
That is a total of... that's a total of 7.
As far as trying to get what you need to do with the door, you're not able to pull it off, at least right now. If you want to try for disabling any other security systems, by all means, go ahead.
Let's try to, again, suppressing the system. I'm going to try to suppress the power grid to this particular area.
Okay.
That is exactly 8.
That works. So, Sid, you're watching as Altus has interfaced with the panel here with the door. As far as the exact particulars, there's a wire that he pulls from somewhere and he just plugs it in. He closes his eyes and he goes rigid for a few moments. You see him maybe kind of twitch and frown a little bit as he tries to open the door and doesn't get it to work, but then kind of recorrects himself. And when you kill the power, Altus, that's when you're kind of like jolted aware. Because with the power down, there's no system to interface with.
I was unable to open the door, but I was able to cut power to the facility.
Great. That's fantastic.
Do you have a way to... Do you have something that we can wedge into the door to possibly begin to push it open?
I'm going to take a quick look around.
Perhaps one of the pieces of metal from the chassis.
Yeah, that was exactly the suggestion I was going to offer there. That'll work. You can definitely go ahead and give me a strength and fix to get an appropriate piece of metal put together here.
Ooh, that's a 5.
And the thing about metal exposed in this environment long term is it turns brittle. The windstorm blows through, kicks the acid sand up, and yeah, things don't last very long. You're working and trying to find something that is going to do what you need it to do, and oh, this piece is going to work. You go and you pull it off and it just crumbles once you get it broken apart. this route, trying to brute force the door open, it's not going to work.
Does the door have any visible seam on it that where it can be forced open?
This is, if you're just kind of judging off of the look, the door itself, it's about the size of a residential garage door. And it does open up, so it's, about...
Opens upwards?
Yep.
Okay.
But it's one solid sheet, so it looks like it's a blast door that goes up and down.
Oh, then I will turn to Sid and say, I only need the door moved slightly so that I can begin to get leverage. If you have any ability to provide the smallest of gaps, I may be able to maneuver it the rest of the way.
I could shoot it.
I don't know if that will work the way we are attempting.
Okay. Is there a rock that you can safely maneuver or something like that?
Why don't you go ahead and give me another strength and fix?
Uh, 8.
8. All right. Well, the thing about the rocks here, in theory, you could spend some time dropping it from the right height to get the right kind of, like, if you're going to try to fashion something to, help pry the door open. It could be done. If you're wanting to try to use the rock to force the door open in any other way, like to bash it down, the metal is going to be a hell of a lot stronger than the rock. Now, Colin, they're going about their work down below, and you've been keeping watch through your sniper rifle. And you can see that there's about, if you would estimate the group's going to be here in about 7, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
You can see that any rubber that were on the truck tires has completely disintegrated. It is just running on rims. Anything else that might have been non-metallic has started to, so hydraulic hoses, anything else that was not metal that moved fluid from point A to point B is starting to give out. There's smoke billowing from underneath the hood of the truck. The helicopter is in pursuit. Now that it's closer, you can see that it is definitely military grade. Now, it's a one-seater. It's got what appears to be the equivalent of a 50 millimeter chain gun stationed underneath the cockpit. And then there are 2 what appear to be rocket pods on either side. There's no room for any kind of cargo or passengers. This is a straight regional attack vehicle.
Okay. I am going to hold and let the helicopter deal with the vehicle. I'm assuming it's going to try to make him stop. So ultimately, if he can stop the truck, then it's less ammo I have to use. However, with that being said, once they get 1,000 yards, either one of them towards me, I will probably start to take a shot.
Okay. You still have some time yet.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to watch it transpire and just to make sure and see what happens.
Okay. Colin, you do get on the radio, and I would say it would probably be fair for Colin to pass that assessment on to Sid and Altus as well, just so they're not flying blind, so to speak. So, Sid and Altus, you've got about 15 minutes before company gets here, in theory. I said 7 to 10. 7 to 10.
Colin, do you perhaps have a tool that could help us leverage the door upwards a bit? I have killed power to the facility.
Is there anything I can rip off this helicopter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is also going to be a strength and fix, however.
That works for me. Sweet. That's +3 before you can start roll. 11.
Yeah, I mean, Sid didn't over-engineer this. She was making do with what she had, and so there's not a whole lot of superfluous metal that you can take off of this thing. You do, however, the co-pilot chair doesn't really need that support strut, and they're just going to have a bit of a bumpy ride on the way back. If you need to use this anyway, why the hell not?
Well, I don't have to worry about Altus's lumbar, so we'll just take this strut. Hey, Sid, come up here. I got something for you.
All right. Aldous, you gonna be all right on your own?
I believe so. Does Colin not want to follow us in?
I'll check with him up there and I'll update you.
Okay.
And Sid's gonna haul butt up the stairs and to her baby and her brother.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sid's just gonna stop and just like, it was one trip anyway. It's barely how I wanted to make it. I would have readjusted. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Great. You coming?
I'm going to start making my way down as soon as you get the door open. As of right now, you guys are secure with that door closed because I have the other entry. But yeah, like I said, I'll be behind you. I'm keeping an eye on this situation here.
Okay. She just glances over from where he points, and she's not taking it in. She's just got the thing and just like, okay, all right.
And that is when you hear the unmistakable brrrr of the minigun going off. Colin, it takes a second, but you spot it, and it looks like the attack helicopter. The pilot could stand to lead a lot better. His shots are nowhere close. Sid,
it's amazing we won wars with this.
I think it's the training. It's the new training is what it is. And Sid's going to hurry back to Altus. Altus, I got the thing. He's just keeping an eye on the situation.
Wonderful. If you can wedge this under the door and lift it just slightly, perhaps the width of the object, I should be able to do the rest.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. This is going to be... let's do a strength and... Strength and work.
Work, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got a 9.
It takes a little bit for you to find a place where you can get purchased. These things are designed to be airtight, but you manage to keep chipping away at it, and you manage to find a gap. And you lean into it. The metal of the bar that Colin handed you creaks and groans. and bends, and you are putting every ounce of your body weight into this, and then the door finally nudges just as Altus had instructed, just enough for the object to slip through.
There. Is that gonna be enough?
I believe so. Storyteller, would you say that this door weighs less than 800 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to commit effort for my telekinetic manipulation. I can lift up to 400 kilograms, which is a little over 800 pounds. So I'm going to put my fingers under the door and then just knock the door all the way up.
Okay, that is a roll.
Is it?
Hold on a second.
I'm committing effort to telekinesis.
Then that's fine. You're committing effort. Yeah, that's no roll required. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy. So Altus is just full of surprises. And he bends down, puts almost no effort into it whatsoever. Doesn't strain, doesn't heave or grunt like you would expect, a normal person to do. I mean, he wouldn't anyway.
Doesn't actually touch the door either. My hands are about this separated from the door as I lift.
Door's open.
Okay, I'll make my way down. I will start moving towards the installation, the little outposts that they have during there, and just kind of stop, assess, come down, kind of work my way down.
Okay. Yeah, there's two.
Do I hear anything else that's going on?
Oh yeah, there's more of the Bert of the chain gun. There's a total of 2 of these fighting positions on the way down. So you take a moment at the first one, you stop. Nothing really seems to have changed much, other than there's a few less guys in the back of the truck. If the rumors are true, any bodies left out on the flats are gone before the sun goes down.
Okay.
So,
and before I hit the door, did we break that threshold of distance? Or are they still far away?
You could take a shot. You could take
aiming for the pilot.
Ooh.
I'm gonna gauge the wind. I'm going to use the skills that I have as a military sniper.
Mm-hmm.
And I will pop a shot. Worst case scenario, he's not gonna hear the bullet whiz by him, so he won't know it's there.
Okay, so this is going to be a dex and shoot.
Okay.
This is going to be a pretty high DC. You've got the armor class of the vehicle plus the difficulty of the shot.
I got you.
So this is... Well, actually, no, this is an attack roll. So, yeah, you can count that as... Yeah, this is an attack roll. So
attack rolls with the 20 is
Yeah.
the D20, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
D20 plus attack bonus plus skill level plus attribute modifier of the weapon.
Yep.
There's a 17.
Roll for damage.
Hang on, I'm getting there. $14.
Okay, make a note. Okay. So you know that the pilot is going to be focused on his primary target, and you're not going to have to be worried about going for cover anytime soon, so you can sit there and you can watch your shot. You stay focused. The sniper training kicks in. You control your breathing, gauging the wind and everything else. One shot. And you see spider webbing in the windshield of the cockpit. And the helicopter starts to swerve, but it rights itself and proceeds to alter its angle of pursuit and proceeds to unleash one of the rocket pods at the truck.
Yeah, because I'm assuming his focus is still on the truck. That shot would have possibly come from the truck.
Mm-hmm. And you watch through your scope as the rockets streak out at the truck. The pilot couldn't aim when he wasn't wounded, and he sure as hell can't aim now, and he wasted how many rockets just kind of... If he had hit square, that truck and about 10 foot around it would have been a crater. But in this case, you can see poof, 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 as the rockets impact mostly behind the truck. One does manage to clip the bed, and the bed is now on fire, but the truck is still moving. And Sid and Altus, you hear the of the rockets and the explosions.
The pilot is engaging with the truck now, so sooner or later we will have less people outside.
All right.
I'm still heading your way, and I'm gonna back my way down the stairs. I think that may have probably given us a little bit more time on the outside.
Storyteller, am I correct that this door goes vertical up and down, and that's it?
Yep.
Great. When Colin shows up, Altus is still just hands up, and the door is staying up.
Sid's already on the inside.
Okay, I just give Altus a glance of holy cow and walk my way in.
Right?
Thank you. And I'll step back in and release and the door just comes crashing all the way back down, loudly, just bam. Because there's nothing to hold it up because the power's off.
Mm-hmm.
As we were going in, I will kick the metal piece inside that we used to jar.
Oh, that door crushes whatever you put it underneath it.
Oh, so it's going to be gone no matter what. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll need another way out, but that's fine. I switch my sniper rifle in my bag and pull out my pistol and knife.
Okay.
Sid pulls out her pistol. Takes point behind Colin. They've done this a million times.
Well, the thing about Altus being, a relatively decent hacker is he did kill the power to the facility. It is pitch black in here.
I'm going to reach into my bag, my pouch of trade goods. I'm going to pull out a couple of glow bugs, and I'm just going to light them and stick them, one on Sid, one on Colin.
That's awesome. Thank you, Zach.
It's in my gear.
Mm-hmm. So you've got some illumination now. Not bad. Now, inside this hallway, because it's a long corridor. This is the equivalent of a hangar area. And you can see that there's several they'd be atmospheric aircraft, so they're the equivalent of fighter jets. Just lined up like they're ready to take off. The crew, or what remains of the crew, are all holed up in fighting positions, kind of slumped and slouched over their posts where they fell however many centuries ago. The air smells very dry, and it's got this. Normally you would associate the smell of must with wetness and dampness, but in this case here, you would imagine this would be what a mummy would smell like. Dry, dusty, but still with a hint of mold and mildew to it. All of the gear that the soldiers are around is probably inoperable. It's hard saying unless you actually go and you examine it. Not a lot
Which
of...
actually, Colin would like to do. I'm looking for badges, IDs,
Okay.
cards, stuff like that.
Okay. I'm not going to have you do any rolls for this here, just because this is cool. I like this. So, Colin, you're starting to go through one of the. This would be the point fighting position up front. You can see that there's scorching, both from some sort of incendiary explosion, plus the precise pinhole burns from laser weaponry and the scrap metal and sandbag barricade that these soldiers had put together. There's a mixture of both ballistic and energy weaponry on these soldiers. It's clear, though, that if you were to look, the insignia has changed over the years, but you recognize some of the initial designs of what would become the UT insignia. As far as the differences between your various enlisted ranks and then your various officers, you can see that the gear that the mummies in officers' uniforms look to be of higher quality than the enlisted. The enlisted have all of the ballistics, the more standard Kevlar style body armor, while the officers had more of the energy weapons and the actual high end synthetic high-tech body armor. Nothing powered, but, definitely something that you would be able to fire, a full magazine of a standard ballistic assault rifle and probably not scratch the thing. But, these are, these look to be the equivalent of old United Tatum soldiers. Or Tatum. Tutum.
Either this outpost has been outdated for years, or this has been a very old battle.
And a battle they probably lost.
Do I know the answer to this, storyteller?
I would say yeah, you probably would. Yeah, Altus, as far as what you can recall, this was a old we'll say it was a last man standing outpost. There was a regional conflict. That was one of the last ones from the wider planetary war to be kind of settled. And this was where the remnants of it would have been the UT government. This was one of the battles they did indeed lose against whatever regional boogeyman they were fighting against.
Information that I relay to the other two as they ponder on this.
Go figure.
Now, Sid, you know what we're looking for, right?
Specifics, no. Generally, a spaceship. Pre-Screech, about as old as everything else is here. Might not even be functional.
Well,
but it has what it needs to get us out of here. That's the thing.
Okay.
And yeah, these fighter jets, they could be considered almost suborbital, but they're not going to, or they're capable of suborbital, but they're not capable of actually true space flight. So whatever.
But it can get us to a ship elsewhere.
In theory, there is plenty more of the facility to explore, however. So,
well, as we do not know what we are looking for, we should explore as much as we can before company arrives, as Colin stated.
I think that door is going to hinder them, but then again, from the sounds of it, they got, you might have guessed rockets, they're calling?
We also do not know if there are other doors.
True.
The one in the sky was a military helicopter. It was a single pilot, though. So if he gets the job done, which it doesn't look like he could, it will only be one person we have to deal with. Now, the other truck is on fire, so that's probably not going to last longer. They got a bit to go. So either way, whoever makes it's going to see the helicopter parked, so they'll know we're here.
Okay.
And as time has passed, the truck, if it has survived the trip, would have gotten out front by now. You can't hear anything going on outside. But if this bunker was indeed the last holdout, yeah, Altus is lucky to have gotten that door open. So, are we? You're going to proceed deeper into the facility.
Deeper and deeper.
There's nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm. So, the hangar itself is the main feature of your current surroundings. There's some various kind of maintenance bays, kind of shunted off partitioned to the side. Calling them separate rooms is a bit of a overstatement, but the hangar does eventually terminate towards a main hallway that then proceeds deeper into the foothills and eventually the mountains. So the hangar itself, we'll say, contained 5 fighter jets, so it's a pretty spacious facility, and you definitely hear your footfalls echo through the dead air above you. Outside had, a very, bitter, acrid smell to it, and that mummy smell doesn't get any better the deeper you proceed. Now, in the hallway where you're at, there appears to be some sort of an administrative outcropping that's actually dug into the bedrock here now. And you can see that there's old terminals that, well, actually they're so old that they would seem beyond high tech to what's currently standard out there that the government would be using. That's how far back this facility goes. You can see that there's a couple of mummies wearing they'd be officers' uniforms, and they've all died at their desks.
A sad way to go.
This wasn't a battle, this was a massacre.
There's no sign of battle in this room. There's also no sign of this being self-inflicted. So, yeah, there weren't any defensive positions set up in here. There's no firearms on the desks to imply suicide.
Are there any canisters on the ground? Like maybe a gas attack or something?
Yeah, it stands to reason that there's something of that nature was used in here, but there's not going to be any evidence that you can see where you're at.
Gotcha.
Other than the administrative area, then there's going to be kind of the canteen / cafeteria, and then there's going to be more towards the back. Excuse me. Was anyone wanting to do anything up here, or are we going to proceed?
I'd say proceed.
Proceed is fine, unless there are spare pieces of electronics equipment that would still be functional that I could salvage.
Actually, why don't you go ahead and you can give me a intelligence and... Why don't you give me intelligence and fix?
5.
Well, with everything powered off, it's kind of hard to tell what's functional and what's not. And any power cells in any separate devices have long run dead. You can tell, though, that there's some personal data pads that you might be able to make use of once you can get them plugged into something that's actually functional.
Does any of the equipment feel warm, as if it were on before I killed the power?
Yes.
I'd like to take power supplies from those.
Just the power supplies, or...
Since I don't know the actual functionality of the equipment, I would just need to salvage for power.
Okay.
For myself.
I won't require a roll. Once you start digging into stuff, it's easy to tell, what you need is what you need. you're made up of the same stuff. So, yeah.
I'm just looking for spare parts at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's enough that you could get something useful, but it's going to require some jury rigging not here.
Correct.
Yeah. Anything else, anybody? No? Alright, and as far as the cantina goes, or as far as the canteen goes, a similar state compared to the little admin area. There's a few people in here, and you can see that they did kind of set up some rudimentary barricades from some of the tables. Not too many people here. Most of the people that you would guess were at the fight or present for the fight were actually up front at the fight. So going deeper, you get to another, well, it's kind of like a storage area. This is you see a lot of filing cabinets for hard copy. You see a lot of Altus, you'd know them to be basically the equivalent of like huge RAID array, like hard drive bays, an archive of sorts. There's also, some spare parts kind of tucked up in a corner. And then there is the door to what appears to be a lift, which is open, but there's no car present.
I will take the spare parts down, as well as if there are any remaining drives in the RAID array that are detachable, I may want to remove them. If there are too many, then I won't.
You could probably grab a few. You're starting to hit the reasonable, we'll say conveniently carryable limit, though.
I start handing the drives to the others. Just not even saying anything, just...
Is there any markings on the drives of what they could be?
No, they're just, what's on them is what's on them.
So it's not worth me trying to find specific things at this point in time. So that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'll look up the lift and go, do any of you have the means to climb?
We do have military background, so...
Do you have rope?
We can climb up. Is there a cable or anything hanging from...
There is... this is a this lift system is more of a mag lift. There is an emergency braking system that does include a cable, but you can see that it's trailing all the way down the shaft. There's not much actually up. This primarily goes down deeper. Judging off of the distance, this probably goes down 30, 40 foot, going off of the wreckage at the bottom of the shaft.
I'm going to take one of the glow bugs off of one of them and drop it down.
Yeah, it's a 40-foot drop. You can see that there's another set of doors on the opposite side of the shaft from where you are, and then there's the wreckage of the car down below. So
there's doors directly across from us, like at the same level?
No, it'd be one floor down, so it'd be about 15, 20 foot on the opposite, and then there's presumably another door down below where the car is crashed.
Can I estimate the distance from us to the doors?
The shaft itself is probably, we'll say it's 10 foot across.
Okay. Easy enough.
Yeah.
I'll look to the others and go, do we want to attempt to go through those doors?
Whatever we're looking for is probably going to be further down.
For sure.
Okay.
They did what they could to barricade and block what I'm assuming is what we're looking for. So go down and follow the trail of bodies.
Fair enough.
Altus, are you able to get down there and open those doors for us?
Possibly, but I might have another way. If I'm estimating correctly, it seems unlikely that the immediate hallway behind that door would be occupied.
So if we get that open, we can almost jump.
Not necessarily. Does this seem to be a reasonable assumption that this hallway would not be entirely caved in?
Won't know until we open it.
I do not know if I can open it from here, but we can still go through.
Either way, Altus will have you lead, and we'll follow you.
Okay, and Storyteller, I will grab both of them and commit effort to burden to apportation, teleport the 10 meters that I'm assuming from where we were standing to the other side of that door. It's blind, but I'm making an assumption that there is empty space for me to teleport into. If not, then the teleportation will fail.
The
I always wanted to
teleportation
become
works.
part rock.
Okay.
The teleportation works. Well, no, if the space wasn't occupied, it wouldn't work.
Right. It just abandons immediately.
Uh-huh.
I would have grabbed you two, and you wouldn't have known why I grabbed you. Instead, I grabbed you, and we were suddenly on the other side of that door.
So it feels really weird. If you've ever been on a roller coaster, your gut is in your mouth. You can't feel your feet. You smell ozone. And then you're in a different space. It's still dark, but now there's open hallway in front of you versus a shaft leading down in front of you. So you're on the next floor down. And as far as what we have going on here, this appears to be more of a support area. So you're going to have a medical bay. There's a barracks. There's also a couple of offices, a communal shower area. There's a couple of private bedrooms. There's kind of it's a long hallway, and everything's kind of like branched off. There's a kind of a common area at the end of the hallway that acts as like a hub for most of like the barracks. But yeah, this would be the support and living quarters area.
Let's move through here quick just to make sure we're not missing any doors. There's nothing that we really need out of these rooms yet.
Gotcha.
Very well.
Okay. So you spend some time searching. I'm assuming you're looking for an alternative way to go down further in the facility, correct?
Yeah, and of course, if there's like obvious things that we need to be looking for, again, I'm still looking for badges and access cards and cool explosive things that could possibly be laying on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah. In here, it's more of the same. The air smells a lot cleaner here, though. It's less. I mean, it still smells old and dusty, but the smell of must is not as strong. Now you're rummaging through. There's a few bodies on this floor. They're in a similar state. They all seem to have been caught unawares by whatever happened. Going off of some of the states that they were in, it was completely unexpected. There was a guy in the toilet. There was another that appeared to have been taking a shower. A couple of guys that were sitting down playing a game of chess. So whatever happened here happened quick.
Storyteller, is there any kind of fire system, like a fire extinguisher water system, that is above us?
Yes, there is.
Can I search to see if one of those, if it's been utilized or not?
It's simple enough. You're not under any duress. Seems to not have been activated.
Okay. It feels like something big happened. If all these people are unaware at the same time, something major happened. I don't see anything in like a ventilation or a dispensary system. I wouldn't put them against themselves to slaughter their own to hide whatever they want to.
Think maybe some kind of radiation, because they just didn't seem aware.
It was quick.
Died.
With radiation, we probably would have seen more decay on the bodies, but I mean, I don't know. This is beyond what I've seen in battle.
Storyteller, are the faces of any of these bodies still discernible, or are they entirely like
they're all shrunken
decayed and dried out?
They're all shrunken and mummified.
Okay.
You can't really assume gender just going off of the uniforms. Everything's fairly asexual, standardized. You can tell that they're that this was some type of a co-ed facility, just going off of the various trappings and accoutrement in the living quarters. But as far as who's who, can't really tell. Last names on the military uniforms. You do see that there is an even mix of like civilian clothing down below here on the bodies. Up top, it was exclusively military. Down below here, there's some civilian.
I can't discern what may have happened without being able to more closely examine them. There's nothing really to observe.
Well, let's keep an eye open. Make sure whatever happened doesn't have an opportunity to happen to us. So let's watch our step.
So you eventually find what you're looking for. There's, obviously you're going to use the lift to get your heavy stuff, your big bulky stuff up and down, in and out. But, if you just have to go up, up a flight of stairs to go where you need to go, use the stairs. And you eventually find a stairwell. Of course, it's dark. You're having to operate off of the glow bugs and the flashlights that you would have to see. And you can see that this stairwell goes down pretty fair chunk of distance. The elevator went down, to, we'll say, the equivalent of the third floor, the stairwell goes down another, for a total of 5.
I think I'm going to try and see if Sid can figure this out here. First floor, general entrance. Second floor, habitation, as well as some form or other of where civilians can roam as well. So some form or other of general area. Is there any role that you can make to discern where allegedly hangars might be? Because I feel that they're looking for like a hangar of some kind.
That is going to be a wisdom and no.
Cool. That's a 7.
Well, it stands to reason in a facility like this, you keep your really important stuff as deep as you possibly can. So whatever you're looking for is going to be as deep as you can possibly go.
I think the really important stuff is down here.
That makes sense.
Smack her way.
So you start the hike, because that's what it is. You're having to be mindful of the footing. I mean, this is reinforced concrete and steel. It's going to hold up over the centuries, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but you never know if you're going to trip on some random knick-knack or piece of trash that had accumulated in whatever happened. You do find the occasional body. If you've been trying to keep track, total head count now is around 35. So, you get to the bottom, and there's all of the previous doors on the way down have been, a fairly standard, metal knob or push bar affair. Nothing too complicated. You could go in or out relatively easily if you wanted to. But down here at the base, there's another blast door.
Of course there is.
This access panel is lit up. This is the first bit of illumination that you didn't bring in yourselves that you've seen this entire trip.
This level operates on a separate power source.
Convenient. And weird.
I can attempt to open the door again through more electronic means, but I do not know what is on the other side.
Ready?
Well, we'll be ready for it.
Take the left and the right.
I will line shunt into the panel to attempt to open the door.
Okay, that's another suppress system roll.
Yes. Double fours, 8 exactly.
So Altus does the same party trick as before, plugging into the terminal. And you can see him kind of twitching here and there. And then eventually the panel lights up and goes green. And the blast doors begin to creak up. And as the door opens, you can see a long, dark, huge chamber. And the bulk of a starship is unmistakable in the lighting, in the far off distance. And as you're standing there taking in the sight that, holy hell, that scavenger wasn't lying, that's when the pew 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 of laser fire goes off, aimed in your direction.
Cover.
I'm closest to the control panel, so out of door range.
Does that seem to give cover if that opened up? I mean, Sid's ready to like just pull Atlas or Altus into cover if necessary.
You're able to take cover, and that is where we are going to end the episode. So another fun little trip into Stars Without Number. This is I love this system. It's fun. It's very simple. You can tell a lot of stories with this system, and I'm having a fun time with it. There's a lot of room to do whatever you want. So we've got one more of these coming up here. And on next week's episode of the old serial bullshit. Anyways, I'll go ahead and let everyone do their outros here, and we'll move onward and upward. And we're gonna go ahead and start with Steve. Go ahead, sir.
Hey everybody, Steven Riga here at Darth Generico. I'm a creative partner here at Martlet Games. Come see everything that we have going on right now. I'm busy editing at this moment a couple more episodes of the Anarchs to be displayed out there. I'm working on a couple more projects in the mix there. And that's just me, and not including everybody else's projects. So keep an eye out for everything that's coming out.
Yep. Next up is Rose.
Hey everyone, Rose on Twitter and Instagram, Rose_Bulbasaur. On TikTok, you can catch me at Rose Bulbasaur. I am also a creative partner here at Martlet Games. I've just run my first part of a one-shot, which is now on the Martlet Games YouTube. Feel free to check that out. Part 2 will be coming out very, very soon. And also you can catch me doing other things like playing D&D on Fridays at 5:30 p.m. PST, as well as on Tuesdays on Nerd Asylum. I will be playing in a 6-month-long charity game called Cornerstone, playing D&D as a sexy bard elf. Go and check that out as well.
And finally, Zach.
I am Zachary Vauda. That's my Twitter handle, and my links are probably over there. As I do not know when this is airing, I'll just tell you to follow me on Twitter for whatever projects I'm in. I am doing quite a few things over the next handful of months from when we are recording this, so you will find all that information there. I am perpetually on ATL by Night whenever it airs on Tuesdays at twitch.tv/ATL by Night, and I'm on Adjacent by Night on Saturdays at 6 p.m. At twitch.tv/levelup_TTV. Follow me on Twitter if anything that I just said changes.
Hi, I'm Patrick Gill, creative director here at Martlet Games. Lots of stuff popping off. We've got the Indie Anarchs game. We've got London's Bleeding. We've got this, which this is going to... there will be an ongoing Stars Without Number campaign sooner or later, somewhere down the line here. We're going to wait and see how this is going to pan out. I like the system. I want to keep showing it off. You can find me on Adjacent with Zachary there. Let's see here. What else do we have going on? Just stay in touch with the Twitters, and I'll be seeing you all over the internets. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Stick around. I'm sure we're gonna raid into somebody here. Don't know who. Y'all have a good night. Bye bye.